Hey, this is Will Lombardi, and I'm here in the Capitol Arts Gallery in downtown Quincy, and it's my pleasure to speak with the featured artist this month at the gallery, Levi Mullen. Levi, I know you first, I think, as a musician, and it's been several years, but I also have a memory of a showing of your work upstairs in the museum several years ago as well. Yeah. But you know, looking at your bio here, it's pretty fascinating because in the time I've known you, you've been sort of an outdoor adventurer, a musician. You're an artist, but you're also, you call yourself a cook, but I feel like you're a chef. How does it all come together? How did you arrive at this place when you have all these strands that you are participating in?
I would get bored with stuff. You know, I'd go so far and I'd put like hundreds and thousands of like being present. And then it would just be like, oh, I get bored of it. So I would go from like learning how to do artwork with Diane Lipscomb, and then going to Sean and like cooking. And all those, and it was, I guess in 2009, I started to think that I could like do artwork. I was just very like, my family did not participate in that stuff, you know, or like talked about it or like, you know, respected it. So it was just like something like, I'm gonna try to do it at FRC. So and I started doing artwork, and kind of opened stuff inside me out, the beauty, the realness inside me through just like movement of just like art, and that just kind of started just pushing forward. And then I got opportunities from like Holly, from Pangea, and these little art openings, and just started to, just little by little, put energy into art, cooking, music, you know, and right now it's like trying to learn how to speak with others, be present with people, and let them tell me their story, and that is awesome. I just randomly just go around being present, and it feels really good. So I'm going to try to incorporate that into all of that and be able to push it all out, like where I can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I think I feel like maybe you're underselling your commitments a little bit as I know you. I can sense that your attention moves from place to place, but I also don't feel like you pick up a pretty thing, look at it, and set it down. I think when you're talking about presence or being present, I feel like you yourself are carrying along your many skills and ideas. I feel like you carry those with you. Does that resonate with you?
I feel like I've been through a lot of tragedies in my life, a lot of excess of drugs and a lot of stuff, and that took me to doors that were shut, or almost finding my mortality. And
that's a powerful statement. They took me to doors that were shut. Yes,
and then finding the spirituality, the calmness inside me was I was able to get it through doing this art, or through my music, or through talking, just listening. So that's kind of like how it kind of is.
And so when you brought your guitar today, you had it at the opening last Friday or 2 Fridays ago.
Yes.
And when I've seen you on campus, you've often had your guitar. what does performing beside your art, and I do want to get to talk about your art and your strategies and methods, but what is that aspect? What does that aspect of performance bring to you, the artist, or performing next to your art in this public way? Are the two joined somehow? Are you trying to achieve something with that?
Yeah, I would say that I wanted to master all my senses in some way before I die. You know, through art, through cooking, tasting, through feeling, and that's has a role of music and art, and creating long-term friendships. You know, and I wanted to want to be a pro before I die at tasting stuff, being able to make my ears sound really, you know, divine, you know. So that's been like my search, and I'm like, why not?
And so putting the music beside the art achieves.
Where see, one person, you know, it's either you're like auditory. Or they'll listen to stuff more than they'll pay attention to what the visual aid is. Mm-hmm. So I wanted a place where all people can come and get whatever they need from my art.
Whether or not what you're playing is directly related to something that you're showing on the wall, you're creating the experience.
Yeah.
You know, a multimodal experience.
Yeah. And performance is a whole different kind of nowness, you know.
So I feel like you say nowness, you talk about being present, yet you also speak of achieving a kind of expertise. Do those things align? Like, I feel like expertise is a long and sometimes tedious process that is past, present, and potentially future, whereas nowness is this whole imperfect thing. Do those pieces fit together for you somehow?
I go back to like Bruce Lee, like when you can like put 100% into this moment right now, then you're here, right?
Yeah, okay.
And that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
But you focus on it, it starts happening. And when I allow that for me, it allows other people to experience that for themselves. Because we're just kind of mirroring each other either way.
I think I'm asking you some of these more these questions more related to the philosophy behind the art, because so much of your artwork feels as if it carries some sort of philosophical weight's not the right word, content. You're inviting us not necessarily into the image, but through the image to something else. Is that right, or am I overstating
I
that?
love that. I go in the inside and I feel from my heart, and I keep it open, and then I have no dualism, no judgment on a lot of stuff in this moment, and then I could let the universe, God, source, whatever, unfolds itself. So I'm participating in this world, but I'm opening up to the divine into this moment, which I'm a part of too, and everybody else too.
And these are expressions of particular moments when, or particular, is it, you know, are you describing a portal or an ongoing connection that you're trying to achieve? And what do these images themselves then, how do they factor into that presence that you're describing?
I guess I really started going in 2012, and you know, when the world was going to end, all that was going, and I needed a theme. The teacher wanted me a theme on artwork, and I just made a little ball because I thought it'd be kind of an eclipse kind of a thing. Then that's all I started doing, just repetition, doing it over and over and over, like thousands of hours. And that became my medicine, my meditation, to be movement without being really present, but just flowing in and out.
Yeah.
And that, it is a meditation. I can sit there and I'm not really participating in like what I want or where it's coming from. I mean, that's all here, whatever, but it's like, I am just letting that kind of flow. And I do put up like really just weird stuff that I would not put up, and then it'd be like, oh. And then I have to figure out how to harmonize that into it. So I'm always trying to like make more work for myself.
That's good. I like that. I think I understand what you're suggesting with that. So can you tell us then, most of these seem to be in the same mode or same genre. Can you tell us what we're looking at? Is it simply pen and ink? Talk about how you are creating what you're creating. Can you talk about materials, etc.? You've spoken about your process. Now, what is it we're seeing on the page, for example?
So a lot of it is I choose black. I don't know why I choose black. I didn't start with black, but then I'll go with gel pens. These are like just little like these white gel pens that I can like kind of layer and kind of like paint on top, and it'll kind of like create a more whiteness. And I would always start with circles and kind of just flow from a circle, and then keep on. I don't know. I would just start going. There's not a real like. It's coming from within me. You know, whatever I've ever learned from the past.
And so what determines, for example, the size of one of these images? How long does one of these images take you? And what kind of a space are you creating in? Where are these all created in the same space and under relatively similar conditions?
This is a print here. This is a real one, and I started with just little like 9x11s and just like see if I can finish them. And like one of my first ones I did, which got burnt in the Dixie fire. That kind of like was like 60, 70 hours, and still I could have had more. And it was just like learning how to like shut it off and go to the next one.
So if it took, say, 60 or 70 hours, is that a spontaneous burst of creative energy? Is that 2 weeks worth of work?
I would have moments, but I would say that a lot of it was evolution, just kind of creating beyond me. And then I would be like, kind of like where it just went out of my hands, and I'm like, I have nowhere else to go with. I can't even accept that this is my work. So I'd have to like set it back and then come back to it later and then be able like, oh, okay, now I know. Because I'd go too far. I'd go like too much. And then I would lose my identity a little bit, like what am I doing? I don't know what I do. I screwed it up. And I never would throw things away too. I was like, I can use that for later.
And so there is, maybe not in every one of these pieces, there's a sense of discovery, but potentially also rediscovery.
Yes.
Can I ask you about the Dixie Fire?
Yeah.
And about your experience of it in terms of your life as an indigenous person, perhaps, but also as an artist who lost artwork. You lost home, you lost art, but there's also, the landscape itself that has been utterly transformed. Is that figuring into some of your ways of thinking now? Do we see some of that on the wall? I wonder.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
You pile it on there. Yeah, like, well, I had an artwork in the museum, and I did it like in 2009 or 2010, and it was just like pointillism, like basic straight pointillism, and had dots that, you know, what pointillism is. Yeah, and I forgot all about that, and it's been there hanging in the Greenville community for a long time, and people notice that. Yes, right here from the Dixie Fire, everything has changed, everything has evolved, everything has grown, you know, and I do have happy and good moments and bad ideas and thoughts, all that, but I feel I used to have dreams, you know, that the Dixie Fire happened, and why is everybody like making new houses and new stuff? I used to dream about this before, and I feel it pushed me into a faster Levi evolving. I think if that didn't happen, it would have did it sooner or later somehow. but that momentum and the shared loss of everybody there, it was made. It was really made to happen. And how I see it is that I was covered by the forest where I couldn't even see the galaxies, the universes. It was just so overgrown. And when it was all cut off, it felt like I had neighbors. I had neighbors from planets, you know? It was just like, all this energy was just focused on it. Yeah. And now it just feels like I'm part of the community, part of the earth. I just can't go run away and hide in the trees and heal myself.
that's something.
Yeah.
Are you on this side of the hill mostly, or are you?
I go back and forth. My parents' house survived. Is thriving now.
Good.
But yeah, I am. I'm back there a little bit. Yeah, and like I can't wait until all the poppies come up.
Yeah.
They clear cut where I live, and we have some trees, but last year was just like thousands of poppies everywhere, and that's gonna happen again. And that's just. You know, and everything else is growing. You know, ants are there. You know, it just I get to see complete like obliteration. Now it's just like, just feels really good. It feels heavenly, especially with all the rain we got and all the lakes are filled. You know, and yeah. Just hearing like when we came back, when everything was burned up and we were able to come into the Greenville. We have trees, all the turkeys, the deer, the little birds we have, they were all staying there. You know, in that little spot, that little pocket we had.
Green pocket.
And that felt like, I don't know, it was good.
Place to start again.
Yes.
It's powerful to hear you talk about it. This has been good to hear from you, and we're going to get to look specifically at your artwork following this interview, and I'm excited about that. But thanks for giving us a glimpse behind the creations that we're seeing here. It seems like you're alive and motivated, and there's a palpable vibrancy surrounding you. So it's good to hear, right? In the midst of everything else.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers.
This is
Enough
awesome.
respect.